Cool, so they can do that, but they can't drill 2 inches into my knee to fix my knee problem. Hello and welcome back to Asia Now. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. In this video, I'll tell you about an American predator arrested in the Philippines, a Filipino man arrested for trying to leave for Cambodia, find out why, a dog that is apparently better accomplished than I am, is the Philippines tourism set for an even bigger decline in 2025, plus more beginning with the USD. I just spat out that plus like that, scared myself a little bit. The USD to peso exchange rate right now, $1 equal to 58.72, slowly climbing our way back to 59 pesos for the dollar. Here's our top story. The Bureau of Immigration reported that an American national who was wanted in his home country for had been apprehended. They reported that the American, identified as Michael Louis Ginsburg, was apprehended while attempting to extend his tourist visa at the Cabanatuan field office last Friday. When Assessor Nicole received Ginsburg's application, she conducted a routine derogatory check and discovered that his name was on the active watch list for an immigration deportation case. According to the U.S. authorities, in July 2024, the Superior Court of Maricopa County in Arizona issued a warrant for arrest against Ginsburg on one account of assault. Ginsburg was charged after allegedly abusing a customer while working as a massage therapist. In June 2024, he reportedly flew to the Philippines after abandoning his home and hiding in New York when confronted. The U.S. government also reported that his passport is already being revoked. He was immediately apprehended by the BI Fugitive Search Unit, and he's currently transferred and detained at the BI Warden facility in Camp Bagong, Diwa, Taguig City, while awaiting his deportation proceedings. Firstly, I want to apologize for all the bleeping, but this person basically was doing some stuff that was not wanted by his customer since he was a massage therapist, some lewd behavior. Let's go on to our next story. And then the BI intercepted a 35-year-old Filipino man at Naya Airport on January 8th who was allegedly lured into working for a scam operation in Cambodia. It was revealed that the passenger, who initially claimed to be a tourist bound for Hanoi, Vietnam, raised suspicions due to his inconsistencies in his statements during initial questioning. Quote, the traveler claimed that his trip was on the spot or spontaneous. However, his inconsistent responses during primary questioning raised suspicions, prompting his referral for secondary inspection. During further questioning, the passenger admitted that his actual destination was Cambodia. He revealed that he had been recruited through Facebook with promises of employment at a business processing outsourcing company. The recruiter provided all travel documents via a Telegram app and instructed him to transit through Vietnam before proceeding to Cambodia. According to the BI, this recruitment method is a common tactic employed by illegal syndicates. Quote, these so-called BPOs are often fronts for scam hubs involved in illicit activities such as catfishing, where individuals are forced to deceive victims online for financial gain, end quote. She said in a statement. A few ways of looking at this, whether the victim or the actual criminal themselves, because I don't know anybody that lies to immigration unknowingly, right? So obviously they knew they were doing something they shouldn't be doing. So that's beside the point. The other thing I want to say is, like, nobody's going to reach out to you for a job offer. Trust me. Like, these companies, I couldn't even get a job as a call center agent in Canada. So apparently I didn't have the qualifications. But that's beside the point. I'm trying to tell you is, like, companies usually don't reach out to BPO basically staff, someone just like a frontline minimum wage kind of person. There's a lot of people looking for jobs they can't get. So if it's too good to be true, it definitely is. I assume these people know what they're doing, trying to go and deceive immigration officers by traveling to different various countries. I'm not going to get into more of that either because I know it's difficult times, difficult circumstances, but I'm just saying this so you guys should be aware. As a Filipino person looking to improve your life, maybe you're looking for a better job, better opportunity, but just keep in mind that you should not break the law because stuff like this can happen to you. You might get actually found out. Also, those situations and the environment you might be going into could be a lot worse than what your current environment is, because by now, maybe you guys know a lot of these like phishing scam hubs, they don't have any freedom at all. They stay in those compounds. And it's not just Filipino people or just scam hubs. People get scammed all the time, not just in Asia, everywhere, and not just for scam hubs, for all kinds of stuff like property, even like in our next story. Tourists scammed in Pattaya condo rental fraud. 3 tourists in Pattaya were cheated out of nearly 100,000 baht by a fraudulent condo rental agency run by a trans woman. I'm not sure why that's important, but I guess that is. Victims were promised high-end condos, but upon arrival, the rooms didn't match descriptions, and some were evicted after one night. One victim, Jane, paid almost 96,000 baht, that's like almost $3,000, for a beachfront condo, but was asked to relocate due to, quote, water issues, and never received a refund. Other victims reported similar experiences with payments demanded upfront and excuses made when refunds were requested. Police are investigating with the over 10 additional complaints filed. Tourists are urged to be cautious as a scammer may still be active. I promise you they are. Maybe not her specifically, maybe not that guy specifically, but other scammers as well. So one note when you're renting places anywhere, please don't ever pay any money to anyone when it's a unit you've never seen. The only exception will be through Airbnb, because the owners of Airbnb are actually vetted. They obviously have all the KYC, like all the IDs and stuff uploaded to Airbnb themselves. Plus Airbnb has their own insurance and they'll refund you the money if you have legitimate concerns. So you have some protection through Airbnb. I understand it's more costly for you, but I recommend renting for a few days. If you like the place, then go ahead and offer the owner cash. That way you skip some of the fees as well. But don't ever pay any money up front through just random Facebook posts or just going online and Googling, condo rental in any country without seeing the place. That way you can avoid situations like this. And that's an old trick. A lot of owners would say, oh, there's a water issue, plumbing issue. Let me go ahead and move you to a different unit, which is a lot worse than the one you actually wanted and paid for sometimes. Not just the Philippines or Thailand or Vietnam, all around the world, people do this. So make sure you have some safeguard before this happens to you. Okay, now time for some positive news. We'll get to scamming again later. But did you spot the dog at the Cebu Marathon 2025? Several people reported that this dog completed the entire 42-kilometer race. One person, Cedro Flores, posted on Cebu Marathon Runners Group, quote, congrats to the doggy. Pauline Marie Cruz and other people also noted that this was the same dog that ran in last year's Cebu Marathon. Whoa, a dog ran 42 kilometers. That dog looks a little bit sad and tired. Hope he has an owner. Some people said that he's looking for his owner, which is very sad. But looks a lot like a lot of the street dog that you see around the Philippines. I mean, if this dog ran 42 kilometers, what's my excuse? And back to the Philippines, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian on Monday vowed to intensify the investigation into the possible involvement of banks and other financial institutions in money laundering cases linked to illegal activities of Pogo. Whoa, that's a good point, right? I can't even get my own money out sometime without having to verify myself 30 times. How are billions of dollars going between countries, banks, and other transactions? It does make you think. More news about the Philippines tourism. Philippine tourism goes at risk due to budget cuts. The Department of Tourism faces challenges in meeting its international visitors target due to the drastic reduction in its promotional budget and the suspension of e-visa policy for Chinese tourists. Some key issues include the DOT's branding and promotion budget was cut from 1.2 billion pesos in 2023 to 200 million in 2024 and further to 100 million in 2025. Visitor arrivals in 2024 totaled only 5.95 million, falling short of a 7.7 million target, and then a suspension of e-visa for Chinese tourists, resulting in significantly lower arrivals from China, impacting overall numbers. Despite these setbacks, DOT Secretary Cristina Garcia Fresco emphasized efforts to diversify tourism products and focus on key markets to drive growth. Yeah, marketing and different sectors of growth when it comes to tourism is great, but I think the Philippines needs to really focus on some of the basic stuff. Like, we have to remember that people like myself or some of the expats that retire in the Philippines or stay long term are a small number compared to the overall target, right? So we have to cater, or the Philippines should consider doing some stuff, even starting at the airport, like that whole experience at the airport with the taxis, having even more options when it comes to getting to the city. And stuff like hotels and accommodations, some of the standards. There's got to be infrastructure, roads. I know they're doing a lot right now, I understand, but I think it needs to be expedited if they want to reach those numbers and targets, or maybe just set some more realistic goals, right? Just some basic observation from my perspective. DOT, I think they're doing their best when it comes to promoting to different countries, going to these events and all that, and trying to do culinary things. A lot of that stuff is great, but I think overall picture, we just have to focus on the customer or the client or the tourist experience much more than just an overall, hey, this is a great diving location. I'm sure it is, but how do you get to that place, right? And who's running that dive shop or dive area? And just a lot of stuff that is, I think, kind of the basic necessities for someone to enjoy their 2 or 3 weeks in the Philippines. And then in Thailand, a photographer was arrested for obscene content on OF. Bangkok police have arrested a 46-year-old photographer known as Thanakrit for distributing obscene content on OF. The photographer, who earned over 2 million baht through the platform, was charged after a model accused him of coercion. Authorities seized explicit materials from a studio and uncovered evidence linked to content to his account. Models and agencies are advised to verify photographers before accepting work to ensure their safety. Okay, so if you ever thought, hey, let me go ahead and go to one of these Asian countries and make some adult content, I would highly advise against that, because there's a lot of laws and rules, and you don't want to be caught in some of those things. Because even recently in Thailand, one of those, I think it's Trike Patrol, or one of the very famous Asian content creators for that, adult content, was arrested. I don't know what happened to them. I don't want to cover the story because it's just, But just saying, be careful what you do out there, because the idea might seem a little easier than the actual execution. All it takes is one person to have a quarrel, let's say, put it that way, with you, and they can report you, and there goes your whole freedom. Back to being scammed. 2 footballers, a guy from Yemen, Majid, 26 years old, and an Egyptian named Ali, 25 years old, fell victim to an agent who fraudulently promised them spots at Krabi Football Club. After paying 45,000 baht, they discovered the club did not accept foreign players. Left stranded in Krabi, their troubles deepened when their only phone was stolen at a mosque. With no funds, they depended on the mosque supporters while awaiting help from their families to return home. Krabi police are investigating the matter, highlighting the importance of verifying opportunities before traveling abroad. Here's the thing. Anybody that wants to give you a job typically does not want you to pay anything up front. That automatically is a scam. I will never give a single dime to somebody regarding application fees, flights, all that nonsense. I'm not doing it, bro. You want me to work for you? Send me the money. Send me the ticket. Send me that, accommodation, whatever it is, because I'm not paying you. You're paying me. I'm working for you. Why am I supposed to go give you initial startup fee? Despite your personal experience, some people may have good experience with all that, but me, I ain't doing that, bro. Like, you got to give me money, not the other way around. And then Cathay Pacific introduced a new way to experience air travel via its air suites on board the airline's retrofitted Boeing 777-300ER aircraft. That looks absolutely incredible. I wish I had the financial means to go ahead and take business class on long flights. I never actually looked into the price difference, but I know, just given my budget and usually short distances, I don't really consider business class at all. I would recommend, not recommend, but I think anything over 3 hours, I prefer a bigger seat, obviously, because, your bum gets numb, all right? So aside from that, let me know, how do you fly? Which business airlines, or even first class, if you had experience with that, have you had any kind, because sometimes they upgrade you, right? Although I don't see that happening that often lately. I think this was like a thing of the past, maybe, where they just upgraded you to like a business first class. Then an international team of scientists announced Thursday they've successfully drilled one of the oldest ice cores yet, penetrating nearly 2 miles, 2.8 kilometers, to Antarctic bedrock to reach ice that they say is at least 1.2 million years old. Cool, so they can do that, but they can't drill 2 inches into my knee to fix my knee problem. And now it's time for our segment Yesterday Today, where I read some of the most popular comments regarding our previous video. Our previous video was about, it was like not a news topic. It was mainly about why are Filipino stores out of stock so often. If you haven't seen that one, check that out. I think it's kind of fun, especially the comment section and people's theories of why that's the case in the Philippines. Let's go one more video back to our news segment about inequality in the Philippines. I'd like to start off by thanking Paul, who bought me 20 coffees and says, "Hey Alex, my bad. I think I disputed a couple of your charges when I did not recognize a name on the credit card statements as Talk Now Canada. I'm adding back those charges I canceled. Sorry for this hassle." Not at all, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, my Talk Now Canada email is based on Living Abroad channel. That's probably why you got a little bit confused over who the heck is this guy. And also thanks to Andrew, who bought me a coffee and says, "Rebroadcast and rebranding have trademark concerns with customary copyright laws under the domestic policy of the rule of law doctrine. Living Abroad is handling this issue very well with dignity of the copyright owners. Sincerely, Andrew." Well, thank you. I try to do my best. I am well versed in copyright, at least within YouTube itself. And of course, anytime somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, I didn't give you permission to use that clip. It's never happened yet, but I'll happily take that down if they ask me to. And with that out of the way, hit that subscribe button if you're new, hit that like button at any point during this video if you like it, and consider buying me a coffee like these guys have if you enjoy these videos and want to show some extra support. And here are some of the top comments. Ray Caitlin says, self-inflicted damage. I wish you could have given me some more explanation of what you mean, but I think you're just saying it's people that do this. I Before You Come See Me says, Alex, you highlighted a comment complaining about registering a used vehicle. I too bought a vehicle on this island for my wife through her relatives. Now we own a vehicle that must be registered on another island. I'm told because the vehicle was reassembled in the Philippines, so the province of Cebu will not register the vehicle. I've done this 3 or 4 years. The problem is I must pay for off-island registration every year. This is exhausting and serves no purpose every year. A big challenge is that the Filipino accept this process as normal. This process may put money in someone's hands, but it is not productivity, and this process is instrumental in making Filipinos poor through diversions of funds from those who have no connections to those who do have connections. The Filipinos accept this as perfectly normal process. Digging a hole and refilling it does not create wealth. It removes it. Jim says, 40 million Americans living in poverty. Asians living in America dream. Same thing is happening in Canada, UK, Aussie. Okay, I'm not sure what your point is, but all right. No one says there's no poverty in those countries. We're just talking about the Philippines. Also, you have to admit there's a big difference in poverty in the US and Canada compared to poverty in the Philippines. Most Canadians, I can only speak for people from my own country that I live in, are homeless because they choose to be. Some of you may not like me saying that, but Canada has a whole bunch of safety nets, welfare programs, faculties, establishments, places. If you are homeless and genuinely want to get yourself off the streets, there are options. So that's the difference. A lot of people are either addicted to something or they got mental issues or whatever reason. I don't want to say they choose to be there, but the options are there. I don't really know too much about Philippines safety nets and welfare programs that allows the majority of those homeless people to get off the streets. So before you guys get all this like offended by this shit, first of all, it was like a World Bank's report. It wasn't my personal opinion. Secondly, let's just be honest and see reality. Don't pretend like poverty doesn't exist in the Philippines. It does, and at very extreme levels. And if you don't think it does, you got to get out of BGC in some of those places.